Welcome back to another episode of the IBJJF podcast. Today, myself and Samir Chantre are going to recap the 2024 World Championships. This was an absolutely epic year at the World, Samir. We had so many unexpected results, so many great close matchups, a lot of brand new world champions, and just an amazing atmosphere all throughout the week and the weekends. How are you doing today, Samir?
Doing good. Thank you for asking, Danny. Always a pleasure to be talking about the IBJJF World Championship. Of course, it's a fan favorite. IBJJF World is just something unreal. And this year, man, it just one more time an epic show.
Yeah, so I want to get your take. Let's talk a little bit about the atmosphere in the pyramid throughout the week. It's always really crazy, starting with the color belts all the way through the black belt finals. And this year, the arena was really full. Seemed like the teams really did a great job of supporting their athletes and cheering and making the atmosphere really fun. So what did you think of the 2024 World's atmosphere in the pyramid?
I was just going to say that, Danny. I actually went to the main table and I spoke to the directors. I even asked them how was the signups for these tournaments, because it seemed like the pyramid was much fuller and every day. You know, like I was there since day one, and it seemed like there was not enough seats. There was enough seats, of course, but like compared to what we used to like even the finals. If you see the videos for the finals, we were down there commentating, right? And the semifinals and finals, and I saw like even the pictures that I had of me, like the background is completely full, you know, and that was like the chants that we usually see. So it was pretty awesome. The crowd was very into it. Even when I was commentating the semifinals, like there was another semifinals going on the other side, and all of a sudden, like I was watching a match, and then the crowd goes crazy, and I'm like, oh my god, makes me want to look at the other side, you know. I was like, no, I gotta concentrate on this match here. So it was awesome, man. Like how the crowd not only went there but also participated, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that pumped up the athletes too, which made their performance even better.
Yeah, we saw some incredible performances, and we were talking about a few statistics before we started recording that I think it's really interesting to talk about. The first one is that out of 18 finals in the black belt divisions, there were 11 submissions. So over a 61% submission rate in the black belt finals. I don't know if we've ever seen that before at the Worlds, but I know in major championships like the Worlds, that's not a very common number.
No, absolutely not. Because if you think about like two of the best athletes, so let's say number one and number two in the worlds, they go to the finals. It's usually like a very even match, you know. It's usually decided by decision, advantage, 2 points. But getting to the submission, it just shows Danny how fired up the athletes were, you know. Like the crowd was pushing, they have eyes on the prize, they are going for the submission and making more entertaining for us that are on the other side watching, you know. So it was an epic world. I'll say that probably like 10 times during this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that we talked about before the podcast that's really, really interesting is that 12 of the 18 black belt divisions were won for the first time by a new black belt champion. So 2 of those champions, Eric Muniz and Mayram Alves, had won different divisions, but Mayram had never won feather. He was a light featherweight champion, and Eric had never won the open class. He was a super heavyweight champion.
Yeah, no, this is another absolutely insane. Like in the if we mention both, yes, 12 out of 16, right? But when we mention just the male, it's 80%. It's 8 out of 10. I don't think that ever happened. I think the only year that beats that, it's 1996, the first Worlds. So he was 100%. It was 10 out of 10, but or 16 out of 16. So 8 out of 10 in the black belt male division. It's insane. You know, like it's definitely something that I've never seen before, and it just shows. And this is something that if you that are listening to us right now have been following the podcast that we have been doing for the past years, this is something that I said back there, you know, that I said maybe 3 years ago, that every year that it's going to be it's going to be harder and harder and harder to see a dominance in our sport. Like we still see people like Gabi Peçanha, Maísa, Andres. We will, of course, we will go back and talk about them, but we still see some dominances. But I truly believe for future generations, this is going to be harder and harder, and it's already starting. So the level is so high, and everyone is so like everyone knows now that they need to dedicate themselves 100% in order to be on that level, because jiu-jitsu is just so professional right now that it's getting harder and harder to have a dominance, because nobody else is doing that thing that only him is doing. Everyone now knows that they need to be professional, that they need to have supports from everywhere. And so I truly believe it's going to be harder and harder to see a dominance in our sport.
So I want to get into some of the individual athlete performances, and everything you were just saying is such a great segue into the first athlete I want to talk about, Mayram Alves. He won the featherweight division and took third in the absolute, which was absolutely incredible. Mayram is a 2022 light featherweight world champion, but he decided to jump into the absolute as a featherweight. Won 3 matches, defeated Roberto Jimenez in the quarterfinal, and then advanced to the semi, where he where he lost a really close match to Jansen Gomez by a score of 4-2. So what did you think about Mayram's decision to jump into the open, and how impressed were you by his performances in the absolute?
And it was an amazing decision, because the more we watch Mayram, it's better, the better for us. So I think he was going to have 4 matches in his weight class or so, 4 or 5, I don't remember exactly. But hey, if he does the open, then it's more of Mayram for us, right? So it's always entertaining. This kid is such an entertaining fighter. His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. It's always amazing to watch the kid, and his performance was just flawless. Like he pushing the pace. He didn't try to stall out any of his matches. By the end of the day on Saturday, was like, how does that kid can still fight the weight class, because he fought like 3 big guys, actually 4, right? No, 4. He did 4 matches in the open class, and I believe maybe 30 pounds difference was like the least that he got. Let's say he weighing 150 pounds and fighting like in 185, I think was the smallest guy he fought. So by the end of the day, I was like, he's still gonna fight his weight class, and then he goes and fights his weight class and beats guys like Isaac Dordelin, which was the current the world champion 2 years ago.
An amazing fight, by the way.
I was just going to say that, in an amazing match. Like, it was 5-4, such a great match, such a very technical and back and forth match, and him having the energy, having the energy to go after 4 matches in the open, do that match. It was pretty impressed. His performance overall was pretty impressed. All his matches, man, like it was a great decision for him. And let's see the facts. It was the first time a featherweight reached the podium of the World Championship since Royler Gracie. What an amazing fact, man.
Yeah, and the year that Royler reached the absolute podium as a black belt was 1997.
Wow.
So
almost 20 years ago.
Since a featherweight has made the absolute podium.
Impressive, very impressive performance. Congratulations, Mayram. Amazing performance, amazing showing at this Worlds. And we can see a few names that really are gonna be in the history of something out of the ordinary for these Worlds, and he's definitely one of them.
Yeah, Mayram had a total of 9 fights between featherweight and the absolute division. Got a submission in his featherweight final, and then beat 2-time world silver medalist Diego Sodre to advance to that featherweight final. So, like you said, Samir, absolutely incredible stuff from Mayram Alves. Congrats to him, making history, and just setting his standard for what he can do in that featherweight and the absolute division at the same time. I heard next year he might even want to go to lightweight.
I was just going to say that. And him going to lightweight, that might get him even more chances in the Open. So let's see. Can't wait to watch him.
Let's talk about another athlete who had an incredible performance, not just in the absolute, but in his division as well, and that was Jansen Gomez. Jansen won the middleweight division in 2023, had an epic performance last year. This year went up to medium heavy, but started his run in the open class. So why don't you talk about some of Jansen's work that he did in the open?
Man, when I saw his all his matches, man, his matches with Gutenberg, his matches with Mayron, it was a great match too. Jensen always puts on a show. Always his performances are amazing. His match with Ronaldo Jr., for me, in my opinion, I believe it was the best match of the tournament, the whole tournament. I had a pleasure to commentate on that match, and man, like I remember their match at PANS 2021 or 2022. I don't remember. 23. Okay. Yeah. Match 2023. It was decision, but even though like it was a decision, it was decided by decision. It was just an amazing performance, for both athletes. It was fireworks. And I'll be honest. I don't expect less when we have Jensen and Ronaldo Jr. on the same mat. I don't expect anything less of an amazing performance or maybe the best fight of the tournament, and that's what I got. Honestly, that's what we got. In my opinion, it was the best fight of the tournament. Jensen came out as a winner, and he went to the finals of the weight class too. So. All his matches in the Open, always pushing the pace, incredible performance, and repeating at his weight class too, making all the way to the finals. Incredible performance by Jensen, a middle heavyweight that goes head to head and beating a lot of the heavier guys. So that was definitely a great day for him. Great couple days.
Yeah, it was really cool to see the checkmate crowd behind Jansen too. It seemed like every time he stepped on the mat, the energy went to a different level.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I even heard for some of the checkmate guys that he's gonna be the one that they want him to be the one to get the crown back to checkmate after years that Buchecha dominated the absolute world's championship. So now they want him to be the guy that's going to take that crown back to checkmate.
So we got to talk about Gustavo Batista too, because he ended up meeting Jansen in the medium heavyweight final. Gustavo came into the 2024 Worlds as a two-time world champion. He was going for his third title. He ended up winning 3 of his 4 matches at medium heavyweight by submission. And he met Jansen in the final and got a really beautiful straight ankle lock. Turned to the inside, put a lot of pressure on the ankle. Unfortunately, the move did injure Jansen, so he was out of the absolute final. But what a brilliant performance by Gustavo Batista, capturing his 3rd world title.
Yeah, Gustavo has been on a high level for a long time, right? His submission rate is always very high in every single tournament he enters. I remember last year, if I'm not mistaken, like a few of his tournaments, he putting the Grand Slam together, he had maybe 80% in the first 3 tournaments, if I'm not mistaken, when Europeans, Brazilian nationals, and PANS. I might be wrong, but I think it was something like that, like 80% submission rate or something like that. His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. Like the pace that he puts, how he dominates the opponents in a way that he takes the fight to where he wants. He takes the fight in the pace that he wants, and he's going little by little, inch by inch, getting to the fight towards his way and getting the submission. This fight, he set up in the beginning of the match. Jensen had a good base, and he really forced that single leg X. But once that single leg X came in, he put the grip perfectly applied. The foot was in the perfect position. He turned to the inside, which is an amputated rule that you are allowed to do that as a brown black belt. Turned to the inside, belly down, ankle lock, and Jensen had nowhere to go but tap. As you mentioned, unfortunately, there was an injury there that took him out of the open class, but awarded Gustavo Batista one more world title, his 3rd world title.
I think when a lot of people think about Gustavo's game, they think about his top pressure. He's so good at passing the guard, especially passing De La Riva, forcing the half guard, putting just tons of pressure on his opponents. But now we got to see a little bit more of his guard and just how high level his guard is. If you've watched him throughout his career, you know he has an amazing guard too, but that was really impressive to what a lot of people thought wasn't his A game, even though he has a great guard. He was able to set up that single leg X and get that finish from bottom position.
Yeah, that's something that he does quite often, the single leg X position. He reach for the four pins and sweeping back. That's a lot for the Atos camp too. A lot of the high level guys from there, they do a similar transition from there. He does a lot of knee bars from there too. He elevates the person and transition into a knee bar. He's guard, he's hook guard, ankle, and single leg X, short X. It's very hard to get out of there without being scored on. He decided to go for a straight ankle, which is something that we don't usually see him doing very often. I've seen him doing more knee bars than actually straight ankle locks, but he proved that his ankle lock is definitely deadly.
Yeah, amazing performance from Gustavo, proving that he's just as devastating from bottom as he is from the top position.
Yes, for sure.
So let's talk about Gabriele Pessanha. Came into the event with the 3-time Athlete Grand Slam award, winning Worlds, Europeans, Pans, Brasileiros in the official IBJJF season 3 times in a row. She's been super dominant, hasn't lost a match in IBJJF competition since the 2021 Pans. So from 2021 Worlds onward, she's undefeated, won every major title. She's dominating a lot of her opponents, and this was one of her best performances. I think we say that almost every major championship, but this one truly was. I believe she had 5 straight ankle lock finishes out of 6 matches. The only match she didn't finish via submission was the absolute semifinal, and she won that match 11-0.
Yeah, so I was just going to say it's even hard for us, Danny, to talk about Gabriele, because she has been like winning every tournament. Nothing new. She won, another Grand Slam for her and all that. But this time, definitely, it might even have been a personal goal for her. Like, hey, I've been winning all this for this much time. Let me challenge myself to do something new. And that's what it seemed like. It seemed like she was like, oh, I'm going to challenge myself to do all submissions or to do all ankle locks. She was 90%, her matches, 85% if you do the math. So 5 out of 6, she got a straight ankle submission. So that proves that she's not only here to make history, but she's also here to achieve some goals that she's gonna be putting to challenge herself even more in those competitions. That's what it seemed like this time, that she had like a personal challenge. Oh, this is what I'm gonna do, and she almost achieved in the weight and the open class. She did achieve 100% in the weight class, but in the open class it was like 80%. So another stellar performance by Gabi Pessanha. Finished the year with all golds again since 2021. So pretty impressive. Like, what she has been doing in this sport is something unseen. Is something that I've never seen. I believe you have never seen, and I don't know if you're ever gonna see again. Once her time's passed, I don't know if you're ever gonna see someone as dominant as Gabi Pessanha ever in this sport.
So Gabriele won double gold at 2021 Worlds, 2022 Worlds, 2023, and now 2024. So that makes her an 8-time black belt world champion, and she has 4 straight absolute black belt titles, which is also the most in history.
Yeah, she's making history behind history. So, and I believe she has more to be done. Has more to be done in front of her.
The way that she is old.
Yeah. It's insane.
Wow. Let's talk about another couple athletes who made history, winning their 5th titles and 5th straight world titles, Maisa Bastos and Andressa Sintra. We'll start with Maisa. Dating back to 2019 Worlds, she's won every edition in the rooster weight division, had a very dominant performance, submitted her first 2 fights and won the final. Nearly getting the submission, was on the back. It was a repeat of the matchup from the 2023 final against Jennifer Aquino. Jennifer, always super tough, but Maisa put on an even better performance in the 2024 final than she did in 2023.
Yeah, I believe in 2023 it was a couple advantages or 2 points. It was definitely a closer match. This time you can see that she sped up like in the middle of the match. She was like, I'm gonna go now, and I believe she was down by 2 advantages, and then she pushed the pace and got, I believe, 10 points ahead on the scoreboard. Some I think it was 1 sweep and 2 mount, I believe so. Actually 1 mount and 1 back take. So definitely an incredible performance, and comes back to what we were saying, how much in the finals are usually like super tough, as we saw last year too, but we see some of the athletes really pushing the pace to either outscore or to get a submission in the finals. We saw a lot of submissions this time, Worlds, and winning 5 in a row in the Roosterweight division. That also sets a record. I believe her record was 4 last year. The one before that was 3. And now, so she sets a record for Roosterweight division in the female with 5 straight titles. Another amazing athlete, Andressa Cinta, and she puts on a show every match too, and she pushes the crowd, man. I don't know if you feel that when she's on the mat. I like her intensity, the intensity of her matches. It's amazing. Like every time she's on the mat, it feels like the intensity is there, and she goes for it. If her opponent is not moving, she's trying to force her opponent to move, so she can really fight forward and gets the win or getting the submission. Another amazing performance by her. 5th time straight, her 5th world title. Another amazing performance by Andressa Cinta. Very impressive, very dominant too.
Yeah, like you said, the submissions in the finals were crazy. Like we talked about earlier, Andressa did get a finish, a choke from the back in the final. Had 4 total fights, 3 submissions. Like we mentioned, her world titles date back to 2019. So she's now won middleweight gold multiple times, and she's also medium heavyweight world champion. So she's done it in a couple divisions.
Awesome. Yeah, no, as I mentioned, like amazing performance by Andressa, and always bringing the intensity, man. And like after the match, even the way that she celebrates, you just see how much intense and how much focus she is for that match. Like she fires up, puts an aggressive performance, and shows again that weight class is a really weight class for her for sure.
Let's talk about Mika Galval. Came into the Worlds with 3 major titles, won the Europeans, Pans, and Brasileiros. In the middleweight division, I believe he came into the Worlds with 11 fights and 10 submissions, so about over a 90% submission rate, which was incredible stuff. Ended up dropping down to the lightweight division. And before we get into his semifinal and final, I want to talk about Mika's Saturday, because he had 3 fights, all submissions, and I believe the longest match was maybe 2 minutes. Some of them were well under a minute, and his submissions were just so creative. I don't think I've ever seen submissions that creative and that fluid in my entire life.
Yeah, it was an amazing performance. I believe in 3 matches, he spent a total of 3 minutes on the mat. Like it was when I seriously, I'm even lost for words. Like when I would look at him, all of a sudden, like he would shake the hand and he was on the back. I would see him shaking the hands, and then he was in a submission. It was like his roll to a back take on his third match of the day. It was just something incredible. His flying reverse triangle, like it was just and we're not talking about like him going against just a guy on the street. Like he went against 3 high-level competitors. He went against Vitor Oliveira, which is a runner-up world champion. He was a runner-up world champion, maybe 2016, 2014, or something like that, But we're talking about high-level competitors, And it was just incredible performance. that he literally put on a show on Saturday. Like the crown, like, and it's crazy. Like when he would walk on the mat, you could see like all eyes on him. Like everyone really was there and wanted to watch Mika. We just got to watch 3 minutes of his matches, but yeah, but it was amazing.
It was an exciting 3 minutes.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
So on Sunday, Mika competed against Pedro Maia in the semifinal and then Andy Murasaki in the final. So against Pedro, it was a win via points. It was one of Mika's few wins of 2024 that he didn't finish by submission. Pedro was an athlete that he finished by submission at the 2022 Brasileiro, but Pedro got silver at the Worlds last year in the lightweight division and has just looked incredible the last couple years. Andy was an opponent that Mika finished twice, once at the Europeans, once at the Pans. But Andy always steps up his game every time he competes. He's now made the World's final 3 years in a row in three separate weight divisions: middle, medium heavy, and then back down to lightweight. So Andy is an absolutely remarkable athlete. It was a super close final. Mika came out with the win, but just want to give props to those guys who gave Mika incredible matches and gave us a lot of excitement on Sunday.
Absolutely. Pedro Maia, I believe he was 0-0 until the 8.5 minutes or something. And then Mika went to the armbar and then transitioned to the back. So it was Pedro did an incredible performance. And I'm going to tell you that, like, Pedro in lightweight, it's a different Pedro, okay? Pedro in lightweight, it's a different Pedro. He does really well whenever he competes in every weight class. I believe if he goes to super heavyweights, he's going to do well because his jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. But Pedro in lightweight, it's a different animal. He did lightweight last year at Worlds and was runner-up. Super close match with Jonathan Alves, and now a incredible performance too against Mika. He had a great run on Saturday too. His matches on Saturday was very good. And then he came into the semifinals. I'm sorry, very well prepared to face Mika. Definitely his best fight against Mika, and then being outscored towards the end. And Andy, man, like, amazing performance as always. 3 straight times in the finals of the Worlds, which is a huge deal. Like sometimes we even focus too much on world champions, but man, to be in the finals of the Worlds is just it takes an incredible high level to just make it to the finals of the world. So make the podium to the world. So making to the finals in 3 different weight classes: lightweight, middleweight, middle heavyweight. That's pretty impressive. He puts an amazing performance. He lost by only a couple of advantages. The match was 2-2, and only, I believe, 2 advantages to Mikael Galvão. Incredible performance by Andy. Amazing performance by Mika once again, and he gets the all gold medal this year, right? In all major tournaments, he wins Europeans, he wins Brasileiro, he wins Pan Ams, and now Worlds.
So he won all those major titles, 16 fights throughout those 4 tournaments, 13 submissions for Mika Galvão.
Amazing, incredible.
So let's move on to Diego Pato. He became a 3-time world champion at the 2024 Worlds, won the light featherweight division. He won his first gold in 2021, then he won the division again last year in 2023, came back to light featherweight, won his 3rd world title this year. Pato had 4 matches, 2 submissions. I believe he got submissions in his semifinal and the final. So Pato really stepped it up in those last couple matches. And Pato's game is always evolving, especially since he joined AOJ. It seems like his results have really gone to another level. So just talk about how impressed you are with Diego Pato and what makes his game so special for that light featherweight division.
Pato is a very complete athlete. He passes really well. He pressure passing, neutralizing opponent's guard. His guard, and one thing that you can realize too, like a lot of the lighter weight classes, they try to pass using athleticism. Trying to side outside passings, more throw-bys and all. You don't see that with Pato because you try a couple of times, his guard is so flexible that then you stop. Once you stop, he evolves. He start using the lapel. He start using the berimbolo. He traps you in a way that's very hard. One example that I can give you is if you watch back his fights with Mayron. If you watch back his fight with Mayron last year, Mayron is a guy that we we are used to see him, like we spoke a lot about him, so we are used to see him moving a lot. But Pato neutralized his opponents. So even Mayron, that's a guy that we see a lot of movement, gets trapped into Pato's guard. And we see that with every opponent that he goes against. He either, when he's on top, he neutralizes the opponent's guard and uses pressure passing to get you to dominant positions, or when he's on bottom, he neutralizes the opponent's passings with his guard and makes it very hard for the opponents to try to get around his guard, and for that, then he starts evolving into his positions that goes right into, like, when he uses the guard, when he uses lapel, he sweeps and goes to the back or to the mouth. When he uses the berimbolo, he takes the back super well, just like we saw in the finals with against Jonas. He took the back, I believe, in 2 minutes of the match with a beautiful berimbolo. So he Pato is really, it's not in a level, in my opinion, a little bit above a lot of his opponents in that weight class. In my opinion, he's definitely the one to be beat in that weight class.
I really liked what you said about how he can do a little bit of everything. You mentioned how he took Jonas's back with a berimbolo. He has some really aggressive attacks with the lapel guard. His passing, he can use pressure. He can pass from the outside. His leg attacks, his foot locks and knee bars, and heel hooks when he's competing without the gi are incredible. So Pato really can do it all. It's really impressive to watch him compete against such high-level guys and put on such amazing, dominant performances.
Yeah, no, absolutely. His game is very complete. Like his leg attacks, but his leg attacks with the gi, without the gi, those are very, very dangerous too. We see him; he is a few-time world champion in the gi too. I believe in the featherweight division, he is a big light feather, which gives him a lot of advantage also on the second day worlds. You see how he moves on to featherweight in the no-gi season and also does amazing, incredibly. He is, I believe, he won twice, if I'm not mistaken, the no-gi worlds featherweight. So that kid is definitely like super high level in every tournament he enters. He's favorite in my opinion, and can't wait to see next few matches for him. And I would love to. One thing too, don't want to put pressure on, but I'd love to see him compete in the featherweight. That will make that division just like Maron did, because featherweight division, there was already 3 world champions, and then Maron got in, so made it 4, and then imagine Pato coming in, and that'll be incredible. Imagine Pato in that division with so many. Wow. Oh my God, that'll be like insane. Yeah, insane. I'd love to see that one day, maybe.
That would be great. Pato now a 3-time world champion. Let's move on to talk about a guy who won his first medal at the Worlds, and it was gold. It was Adam Wardzinski. Got his black belt back in 2016. He's been competing at the Worlds ever since then, never even reached the podium, which is pretty incredible. He's won the Europeans a couple times, won the Pans. Everyone knows how high-level Adam's game is, how technical he is. Everyone loves watching Adam sweep from the butterfly guard into the mount. We've seen he's able to pull off really similar sequences on really high-level guys across many major tournaments. Always a fan favorite. Adam had 4 fights at the 2024 Worlds, 4 submissions, and his final, there was incredible energy, Samir. I think that was one of the finals with some of the best energy. Team Checkmat was, of course, all the way behind Adam, backing him up. Got the sweep right into the mount, got the head and arm choke. I was stunned by Adam's performance.
Yeah, no, he always does amazing. He always does really well. And that is one thing. There's one thing, Danny. When you can do a couple things with everyone, that just shows how well you do those things. Because all his opponents, they know what's coming. They know what's coming and they can't stop it, which makes it even more amazing. When you get people by surprise, when you do something that it's that the person is not expecting and you succeed, yeah, of course you have to do it really well. Of course, especially in the highest level, like we all seen almost everything, right? but everyone knows what Adam's gonna do. Everyone knows that if you stop in front of him, if you are on his knees, he's going to bring you down. He's going to go with with his hook sweeps, his butterfly guard, to one side or to the other, and gets a sweep. And then he's gonna be tight on you. He's going to get a good underhook, a good shoulder pressure there. He's going to spread your body apart and either go straight to mount. So most of the time he goes straight to mount. Even when he does a knee cut, he opens to the quarter mount to go straight to mount, and he does over and over and over again. So and I did see an interview for him too, saying that I finished with the world's curse for me, because it was the only tournament that he was looking for the whole time, and he would lose to guys that he has beat before and all that. So incredible performance by Adam. 4 fights, 4 submission at Worlds at that level is definitely something that you gotta respect. You gotta respect, and it was his first time, but it was in an amazing fashion, So definitely, and I believe he was the only not Brazilian to win the Mayo Black Belt World Championship this year. So another great achievement too.
Yeah, I believe he was
and
the first male
first
black
Polish
European and world
European,
champion.
yeah. Amazing, making history.
So he won his first world title. 2 of his checkmat teammates also won their first black belt world titles in Natalie Ribeiro and Jackson Nagai. They also won their first title. So pretty incredible day for Team Checkmat.
Yeah, no, amazing performance. And even though he didn't win, it was also an amazing performance by Jensen the whole tournament. So yeah. Checkmat really put on a show. Like it just proves how great that camp is.
So let's talk about Luisa Montero, an athlete who every time she competes, similar to Gabrielle, she makes history. She's been competing in the division, either lightweight or middleweight, for so many years. I believe she's been a black belt for well over a decade. Came into the 2024 Worlds with 2 world titles, won her 3rd world title, announced her retirement from IBJJF Grand Slam events, said she might do some one-off fights or IBJJF GPs, but won't be competing at the Worlds anymore, which we're going to miss her a lot. She made so many finals. She has 3 titles at black belt, also 9 silver medals. So she's been in 12 black belt world championship finals, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, no, Luisa, I believe she has been, maybe if you want to cut that, I believe she has been in 9 finals, 3 titles.
Oh, okay. Is that?
I think that's what it is.
Do you want me to restart with Luisa?
Yeah, because I think that it is. If you want, let me just confirm, because I think.
Yeah. Let's check it.
Yeah, I think she posted that, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Okay. I'll check too. Oh, yeah, she did do a post. Let me see.
She did a post about that. I don't know. Those things here. Oh, no, that's what it is. Yeah, no, you were right.
Oh, I was right.
Yeah, no, you were right. I'm sorry.
Okay. Cool. Do you want to just start then with Luisa, like after what I said?
Yeah, I'll say. Yeah.
You'll say, okay, cool.
Luisa had an amazing performance, and Danny, I don't want to bring up her age here, but she's my age. She's 35-year-old. She has been in the finals of the world championship for 12 times, and winning all submissions, and she could be masters too, and she just puts an amazing performance and submits 4 out of 4 matches. She has been in the highest of the highest level for so long, and I feel that she only gets better. I feel that she only gets better. It like and honestly, like I'm like, she's going to retire, but I truly believe that next year she'll come here and do an amazing performance again. But of course, we never know. Like many things are on the athlete's life. There are other priorities. She might just switch her priorities to so long living that life and doing the same, doing with the same goals. She achieved those goals many times. She has made history in our sport. She's definitely a very decorated athlete that we always going to remember too, as that on the mat, bringing amazing fights, always fighting forward, never stalling matches, never wanting to win by advantage, always looking for submissions, gi, no gi. She has won no gi worlds a few times too. I remember she won no gi worlds when as a brown belt in the brown black belt division. If you're new to jiu-jitsu, you don't know that, but the women division used to be purple and black, and purple to black, and then brown to black. And I remember Luisa, I believe it was 2010, if I'm not mistaken, or 2009. She won, being a brown belt, she won in the black belt division. So she has been in that level for so long, in the highest of the highest level for so long. Well-deserved retirement. Let's say that she has been doing amazing. Congratulations, Luisa, for this amazing achievement of 100% submission in the 2024 Worlds.
A couple other interesting notes about Luisa's performance. Like you said, she had 100% submission rate, 4 fights, 4 submissions. The final submission was against Brianna St. Marie, who actually submitted Luisa at the Worlds last year. So Luisa last year I believe it was 2023, she won the Europeans, Pans, Brasileiros, was trying to win all major titles. But by the time she got to the Worlds, she said that she was feeling a little bit tired just from all the training and all the competition. This year, she focused on the Worlds, got the submission victory over Brianna, who submitted her last year, and got her 3rd world title.
Yeah. No, amazing performance. I believe was Brianna's first finals too?
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah, first World Finals. So Brianna is another athlete that had been doing really well. So that was
world champion in 2020.
No-gi world champion, yes. Mm-hmm. And she podium at Brasileiros too. So she has been also doing very well. And for Luisa to go there and getting that submission in the finals, like I said, Luisa was very impressive performance by Luisa. And sometimes that's what you gotta do, like she had that focus, she has that goal, and she planned for it and got in the best way possible. Honestly, that was like 4 fights for submission. I don't think there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, what a great way to go out from the World Championships. So Samir,
absolutely, yeah.
It was an absolutely epic Worlds, a lot of incredible matches, tons of submissions, so much excitement. Any final thoughts before we close out the podcast on the 2024 Worlds?
It was amazing, very epic. These Worlds definitely, it's definitely in the history books. A lot of upsets, a lot of epic matches, a lot of new world champions. I truly believe these year Worlds. If you haven't watched the final days, go back and watch. Go to the videos. Just watch all the matches. Just watch all the match for the final days. You won't regret. Get a Sunday, play in every single match. It was just epic. The atmosphere was amazing. You're gonna hear the crowd. It's like I think I'm gonna do it myself, and I was there. I had the best seats in the house. I was just there inside. So and I still think I'm gonna do it again because just the chant for the crowns, the atmosphere, the how much the aggressive and how much the fighters wanted to win. That made it. I think that made a difference in these Worlds, and that's why you see like a lot of world champions not even making to the second day. In featherweight, we had 3 world champions from that weight class that didn't make it to the second day. So we see how much everyone that was there wanted to win. There was no edge between fighters there. It was absolutely incredible. Can't wait for the next tournaments. And yeah, amazing.
Yeah, so I think we both said this last year when we did this Worlds recap podcast, but I'm sure you're feeling the same way as me. I'm already excited for the 2025 Worlds.
100%, 100, because it always gets better. It only gets better, you know? So if this year was like that, I can't even imagine how it's going to be next year.
Yeah, so like you said, Samir, we got some amazing events coming up. We've got American Nationals, Jiu-Jitsu Con, Pan No-Gi, World No-Gi, some amazing tournaments. You're not going to want to miss those. Thank you, Samir, so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. As always, it means a lot to us that you spend the time to break down and recap these events. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. We'll see you guys soon for another episode.